In the heart of Europe, nestled within shelves laden with centuries of dust and history in the Grand Library of Rouen, lay a manuscript that would revise our whole understanding of medieval Europe. It was the summer of 1922 when Dr. Elizabeth Moreau, a professor of medieval history at Sorbonne University, first stumbled upon this novel document during her research on feudal legal practices. The manuscript, bound in faded leather with intricate embossing that spoke of forgotten craftsmanship, was an anthology of narratives and decrees purporting to stem from a hitherto unknown medieval duchy called Floraine. Intrigued by the possibility of uncovering a forgotten entity and possibly shifting the narrative of European medieval history, Dr. Moreau dedicated her research efforts to validating this manuscript. The document described Floraine as a variant enlightened duchy, where norms of governance defied the traditional feudal oppressions pervasive across Europe during the medieval period. According to the manuscript, the rulers of Floraine insisted on education for all its citizens, fair distribution of resources, and even stipulated early forms of democratic engagement. The manuscript included descriptions of the Assembly of the Commons, a council where representatives of various classes, nobles, clerics, farmers, and even artisans, came together to discuss and decide on matters of state. This method of governance was exceptionally progressive for a time when monarchic and clerical hierarchies dominated. Moreover, the duchy purportedly flourished under a decree known as the Charter of Common Blessings, which, among other rights, granted freedom of speech and trade rights equally across its populace. With the details provided in the manuscript, Dr. Moreau ventured throughout Europe and consulted numerous historical records and scholarly studies to find any mention of Floraine. Her pursuits led her into discussions, debates, and even conflicts with the academic establishment, which found her claims contentious and disruptive to the established chronology and understanding of medieval governance. Months turned into years, and with every document, ledger, and correspondence studied, the existence of Floraine seemed less like historical reality and more like a medieval fantasy. Then, amidst a dusty collection of private letters in the Vatican archives, Dr. Moreau found her breakthrough. A letter dated back to the 14th century, written by a bishop from a nearby known duchy, referenced Floraine not as a geographical entity, but as a conceptual one. It appeared that Floraine was never a real duchy, but rather an intellectual exercise, a utopia created by a collective of medieval scholars and thinkers. They had envisioned a society that could guide rulers and commoners alike toward a more equitable coexistence. Floraine was a critique wrapped in the form of a historical narrative, a bold critique of feudalism hidden from the wrath of dominant conservative forces of the time. This revelation, while disheartening in one aspect, illuminated another crucial point. The medieval mind was capable and even daring in its critique of its societal structures. Dr. Moreau's work, published under the title The Floraine Manuscript, Europe's Lost Utopia, not only adjusted the perceived boundaries of medieval thought, but also invited a critical reevaluation of how democratic ideas circulated in medieval European societies, albeit cloaked in allegory and narrative. Dr. Moreau's findings stirred substantial discourse. They pointed to the resilience and perpetual yearning for justice and fairness amidst the harsh realities of medieval life, echoing down the corridors of time to inform our understanding today.